All right, YouTube, welcome back to the channel. So let's get straight into this video. I want to talk about how you're persistent, right? You're ultimately persistent. And if you're watching this video, you're probably the type of person that like you just don't give up. And this isn't just a motivational thing. This is a fact, right? You're someone that's so persistent. It doesn't even matter like what gets in your way. If you have a goal, if you have your eyes on a goal, you get tunnel vision on that goal and you're going to get that goal, right? Whatever it is, no matter how many things get in the way, whatever trial, whatever tribulation, whatever problem, whatever setback, whatever, all that stuff, none of that stuff is going to phase you, right? You just have this insane persistence about you. You're created like that for a reason, right? That's what you're chosen for. You're supposed to have this persistence, right? You're supposed to have this kind of tunnel vision. Whenever you want to do something, you kind of perfect it. You get really, 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 really extremely good at it, right? You're going to perfect it up until you don't want to do it anymore, right? And this is a gift from God. This is your gift. If you're watching this video, and not everyone's going to resonate with this video, but if you do, this video is for you. But you know that you're someone that's really persistent, right, in your goals. As soon as a goal gets in your head, like you genuinely want to do something, as soon as you have that desire in your heart, nothing's going to stop you from obtaining it. Once that desire comes, nothing's going to stop you. Like it's over. You're going to reach that goal. And you've probably seen this with yourself, with whether they're small goals, whether they're fitness goals, whether they're financial goals, whether they're health goals, whatever they are. You've probably seen from yourself, as soon as you put your mind into a certain goal, you pretty much crushed it, you destroyed it. You obtained that goal so perfectly that there's nothing else that you could do, right? You've just got everything. And God made you this way, right? Because He purposed you differently, He made you have this type of personality. This is why you find it hard for you to do things that are kind of just uninspiring, right? Like if it's something that you don't want to do, that you know you could do something else a better way, you're going to go to that better thing, right? Because you're persistent and you're stubborn in a good way. You're going to be like, why would I do that when I could do this? This is going to work out better. This is a lot better, right? This is worth more. Because you're supposed to be this way, right? This is why I always talk about how you're kind of like this quote unquote free spirit. You're not one that likes to be like restrained. You're not one that likes to be like told what to do. You're not one that likes to listen to other orders. You're not one to do any of that stuff, right? You're the type of person that focuses on your own stuff, your own goals. You're the type of person that focuses on reaching like the best that you could reach in your life, right? That's just how you are. This is why I've spoke about it in some of my older videos, where if you're chosen, you kind of have this like fire inside of you. It's always there, right? And this is what makes you kind of not be able to just like kick back and like relax, right? Because there's always this burning fire inside of you, and it's supposed to be that way, right? Because you're supposed to be someone that's like successful. You're supposed to be someone that does something different, right? You're supposed to succeed in something because you're set apart. You're supposed to do something else, and the only way to get there is with that fire, right? So this is why you've probably exhausted yourself maybe like a million different times, whether that's from like trying different things, reaching a certain goal. You've like fought and like exhausted yourself. But the whole time you never say like, oh, I'm just gonna stop, I give up, I'm not gonna do this anymore. Like even if you want to say it, this is why I always speak about it. Even if you want to give up, like you just can't for some reason. Even if everything's making you mad, even if everything's falling apart, even if everything's just going completely the opposite way, right? You still have this faith that you're gonna reach that goal, right? Like you can't like relax on it. You're like, no, I'm gonna do that. It's just like a burning fire that you have, and that burning fire that comes from God, right? He put that certain vision that you have inside of you, right? And the vision that you have, because it's from God, it's going to require a whole lot of strength. So this is why there's so much push to it. There's so much like fire that you have. There's so much just stress that you have about it, because you're supposed to reach it, right? You can't relax until you reach that goal. I mean, you can't relax until you reach that vision. This is why whenever you're like outside that vision, and you're not working on that set vision, you kind of feel uncomfortable. You just kind of feel like, ah, I'm supposed to be somewhere else. Like I need to be doing something else, right? You just get this feeling that if you're outside of that purpose, right? If you're outside of your vision, you just get this feeling that you're not supposed to be at that said place. You're supposed to be somewhere else, right? So you're always constantly getting led to that, right? You constantly get led to your purpose. You constantly get led to your vision, right? And if you're watching this video, you may have thought that you're just like crazy or something. You're just like, what am I even doing? Like, I know I have this vision, but like, how am I supposed to do it? And like, why do I always like just feel led to do this thing, right? It's because you're not crazy. You do have a purpose by God. You don't have that vision for no reason, right? This is why you probably spoke it to other people and like they don't understand it. Like they don't see the same vision that you have. It's because that vision is only for you. It's only for you to see, right? Because God put it inside of you. He didn't put it inside of the other people. Other people have their own stuff that they need to do in their life, right? You just have that specific vision. And if you look at all throughout like history, every single person who was purpose, those purpose differently. They all had like a vision, right? They all had this different type of vision. And like they didn't know what it was, but they could all relate to one thing, is that they all had this type of fire inside of them. This type of just like, you can't like relax. You can't relax and just like not reach it. You can't relax and just live a normal life, right? Because every time you try to do that, it just doesn't work. You just don't feel right. You're like, ah, this is miserable. Like I need to do something. Like you're going to be constantly uncomfortable until you go to that purpose, right? It's going to be pretty much frustrating so much until you get there, right? God will use anything to get you to that purpose. And this is why your life has been so difficult, because your eyes are focused on that vision one way while everyone else around you may have been focusing on other things. So it's always been like you're like polar opposites with people. And people, you probably had like struggle with people like understanding you, right? Because you'll say one thing and they say the opposite. Like you believe you could reach this thing and then they say the opposite, right? So you've constantly had this like pulled back into the world and like what you're supposed to do in this world, and then this pull also that you feel from God that you're supposed to be doing something else, that your purpose differently, right? You constantly have these two pulls in your life, right? And of course, it is not for no reason. You're supposed to be there, right? I'm only speaking to people who truly know this. Not every single person will resonate to this video, but likely many of you will. And you're not tripping, you're not overthinking, you're not delusional or whatever. It's not an illusion. It's not just like a feeling, because it's a feeling, but it's not a false feeling, right? You've probably seen like confirmation over confirmation about these things, right? You know that your purpose for something else. You could just feel. You probably felt it ever since you were young, right? You just kind of felt different. You kind of just felt like there was something for you to do. You just didn't know what it was, right? But you know, whenever you're not doing it, you just felt like you were missing something, right? You're like, I'm missing something. Like, what is it? Like, what am I even missing, right? And that's what has made you so persistent. It's made you so super persistent, right? Because you have that vision and you know you can reach it, but your life is showing you opposite things. But you know that your vision is true, that you're going to be able to reach it, but your life's also showing you the opposite. So you're like, what do I do? But you're persistent. You keep going. You keep following that thing, because it all requires faith, right? You can't do it without faith. And God has put that fire inside of you, which that fire gives you this faith, right? You just believe it. You just wholeheartedly believe it. And you've been so persistent to the point where like once you know that you're supposed to be at a different destination, no matter what your life shows you, no matter if your life shows you quote unquote evidence that you're doing the wrong thing, right? No matter what happens, you constantly get this peace from God that you know that you're doing the right thing, right? That you know you're actually doing the right thing. It doesn't matter what it looks like, right? Because you have God on your side and God could do anything. So that's how you move, right? You probably have this just like blind faith. You're supposed to have this blind faith with God. You're created to kind of like trust fall to God. Like no matter what your life is showing you, you just trust fall to God. You're like, God will handle it, like, right? So whenever whenever you don't know what to do, whenever you're just like hopeless or whatever it is, you just go to God. Yeah, you just fall back to God. You're like, okay, I don't know what to do, but I trust God, right? And every single time you've trusted God, 100% of the time He's fixed the situation, right? He's shown you that He is to be trusted, right? Because you've always broke through these things. So He shows you time and again that you could trust Him. Time and again that your faith is rewarding you, right? Time and again, every single time anything required faith, once you put your faith in God, it worked out, right? Every single time it's worked out. And this is why things just work out for you, right? This is why in my past video I talk about how if you're someone who's chosen, you're quote unquote lucky. But it's not lucky, just you're so persistent and you have faith. There's no other outcome besides getting that thing that you have faith in, right? There's no other outcome. And it comes to a point where you thank God that He didn't let you just go back. He didn't let you go back to those closed doors, right? Because if you do go back to those closed doors, as soon as you go back to them, you're going to realize why you're not supposed to be there again. You're going to get hit right in the face with it. You're going to be like, oh yeah, I'm really not supposed to be doing that, right? I'm not supposed to be there. So this is why He shuts those doors, whatever those doors are, whether it's like a certain career, whether it's certain relationships, whatever it is. He shuts those doors. Because when you were in those doors, you were miserable, right? You're just like, how do I get out of this thing, right? It was like slavery to you, whatever these doors were. So He closes those and He takes you to your purpose, right? But it's a marathon. It's not something that you can just do in one day, right? If you have a vision from God, it's going to be long term. It's supposed to be long term. It's not just for you, right? It's a long term thing, and you just have to move every day with faith. You just have to move every single day with faith. Because your faith is what has saved you every single time. Your faith is what has made you break through every single time, right? You were never a person that lacked any faith. You were never a person that just didn't believe. You always just believed. Even when you're young, you just believed you could achieve things. You were just like, I don't know, I just believed like I could do this thing, right? You've always just had this genuine belief in yourself. And you just had faith, right? And that faith comes from God. But yeah, the moral of the story is that you're someone who's highly persistent. You're just persistent in your goals. You're just persistent in what you believe in. Like it's almost impossible for people to change your mind about something. Like once you truly believe in that thing, like you're gonna go 100% on it. Just 100%, 110%. It's just how you're supposed to be, right? But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Of course, don't forget to like, don't forget to comment, and don't forget to subscribe. All right, God bless you guys, and I'll see you in the next video.